For many LGBTIQ people in Botswana, the most painful rejection does not come from strangers or society at large, but from the very families meant to offer love, safety, and belonging. When sexual orientation or gender identity becomes known, some are pushed out of their homes, cut off emotionally or financially, and left to navigate life without support. This silent form of rejection often forces LGBTIQ individuals into vulnerability, exposing them to homelessness, mental health struggles, and interrupted education, and increased risk of gender-based violence, while remaining largely hidden from public view and policy debates. LGBTIQ activist Bradley Footing has raised concern over the mental health toll of family rejection on LGBTIQ individuals, saying many experience emotional and psychological breakdowns when they are cut off from family support systems. In an interview with YTV, Footing said that for many members of the LGBTIQ community, the family is expected to be a primary source of love, protection, and belonging. However, when individuals come out about their sexual orientation or gender identity, some are met with silence or expulsion from their homes.
LGBTIQ people do face a lot of issues, and part of that is rejection, being outcast by your family, and this has a lot of impacts, including issues around mental well-being, because you have no one to talk to. Your family is your supportive structure. This even includes access to social services, to schools, to healthcare. That support could be denied because of rejection by family. It even makes you vulnerable and susceptible to violence in society. We've seen issues where LGBTIQ people were rejected and ended up on the streets, ended up being violated, ended up being sexually harassed and molested because they don't have safe spaces that they can convene.
21-year-old Brian Mudipe, who identifies as a gay man, says he has faced painful rejection from his family, including his own father, because of his sexual orientation. He said the experience left him feeling misunderstood and emotionally distressed, as he believes his identity is not something that can be altered through prayer or counseling aimed at conversion. He explained that family rejection has had a significant impact on his mental well-being, adding that being treated as something is wrong with him has been deeply hurtful.
I'm gay. I've grown up being gay. I just get to know myself when I was at my junior school, my junior level. My family rejected me, starting with my own father. My own father. He used to call me names. I'm just and all sorts of names that I say but I didn't give up because my mother was there supporting me until she just passed away. Then my father just vacated and got into thing because I don't want to say that, but I used to say I don't know how that's how he went. I never chased him. I never followed him until even now. And I was after my mom. I just stayed with my relatives. My relatives were just there providing love and care. But the thing is that they didn't accept me the way I am, and still now they don't accept me the way I am. They still think and they say they have hope that one day I will be the person that they want me to be. But that's not gonna happen because I'm who I am. Not because like I just wanted to experience or I just wanted to explore. This is the real me. This is the real who I am. And around public rejection or school rejection or work rejection, yeah, those column lots of from different places, nations and whatever. So you cannot like how because we people have different opinions and views. But even though people can discriminate you, once you have at least you have to have at least somebody who is by your side, only one person or organization like 𝐸𝐴𝐴 because it's always there for us. If we feel we are overwhelmed, you can never take it anymore, just come to see for those from 𝐸𝐴𝐴. Or if you have someone, just always share. Travel to any country, I'm not allowed, blah blah. So then you have doing stupid things like taking your life or doing anything that's not going to hurt you.
An LGBTIQ ally, Siphiwe, says family rejection can be deeply painful and emotionally damaging for many people within the community. However, Siphiwe also pointed out that many LGBTIQ individuals respond to rejection by creating new support systems.
Family rejection, first and foremost, is very painful, and it's something that we need to acknowledge, that when your given family says that they don't recognize you or they don't think that what you're going through is important, and that's something that we need to understand, right? But I think that also gives us an opportunity to form new families and form structures that allow for family building, which is community in a sense, right? The 𝐸𝐴𝐴 is an extended family of somebody else. Tebelopele is that kind of thing, Bonella is that kind of thing for other people. So I think it's very important that we look at opportunities like this place as a safe haven, a place to find family, people that are like us, people that love us the way that we are. And it's very important to also know that your family doesn't start and stop with people that are related to you. It matters that the people that you are with, that you call family, respect you, see you, value you, understand you. And if you feel like you're getting to a point where your family isn't doing any of those things, you need to know that there are places where you can build those things, that there are people that see you, that value you, even if they don't know what your name is, even if they don't know what your sexuality is, they don't care, they see you as a person. And they believe in your human rights, regardless of your sexuality, regardless of, are you purple, are you blue, are you black, you know? And places like that do exist.
An LGBTIQ advocacy group, Success Capital founder Dumiso Gasa, said many of the organization's members are young people who face rejection from their families because of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Gasa explained that youth make up majority of membership and a significant number of them have experienced being sidelined, emotionally cut off, or even forced out of their homes after coming out as LGBTIQ. He noted that family rejection at such a formative stage of life often leaves young people vulnerable and without financial or emotional support.
So our constituents are primarily LGBTIQ youth, meaning that they are largely dependent on their families. And through our research at Success Capital, we have found many instances where young queer individuals were not allowed to stay at home or found themselves having to leave home as a result of an intolerant and hostile home environment. For many individuals, this meant that they found themselves in relationships where they'd be dependent on their partners, usually that is out of their places of residence or out of their homes, in a different location, and having to end up hustling. Or looking for some form of employment. And I think what's important for this is in recognizing that that economic instability, that lack of support structures has a wide-reaching impact in someone's life, meaning that their quality of life, not having a support structure, especially if they find themselves in an abusive relationship where they're economically, physically, and psychologically exploited as a result of being able not being able to go back home. And so for us, it's recognizing that the human rights issues that impact LGBTIQ youth are wide-reaching. I think it's also quite important to speak about how many adults often end up being supporters of their parents who never used to accept them and only ended up accepting them when they started sending money back home. And so I think it's very important to recognize that economic stability, the ability for someone to be able to pay their own bills, their own rent, and to be comfortable, essentially usually ends up leading to some form of tolerance or acceptance in their homes because they have means, because they're not reliant or dependent on their family members. And so I think it begs the question in broader societal issues when you look at how stigma, discrimination is often reserved for those who are unemployed, those in rural settings, and those who don't necessarily have the means or economic standing to be respected in society.
Meanwhile, Legabibo representative Laone Van Voren said the organization continues to serve as a safe space for LGBTIQ individuals who have been rejected by their families. Van Voren explained that many people approach the organization feeling isolated, emotionally distressed, and unsure of where to turn after experiencing rejection at home.
Family rejection, I think, is one of the discriminations that LGBTI people face. I want to say on a large scale, and maybe we don't even have enough conversations about that. And it happens particularly it happens for people by Botswana, people who transition, people who are gender non-conforming. And for us, Legabibo will always be a safe space. If you're able to access Legabibo, if you don't have to be here physically, you can maybe speak to a community mobilizer virtually, or send a message. We can provide counseling services. That also means sometimes maybe meeting with your family, because we also have a P-flag, parents, friends, and allies of LGBTI persons. So already is LGBTI, and speak to them about that kind of thing. And then it's in the services that we provide. We continue to build inclusive environments. We continue to build capacities, not just of duty bearers and service providers, but also of communities and families as well, so that we become more inclusive and more understanding of each other. So, and this, I think, for me is something is premised on the very simple lexicon ya botho, like a
A story compiled by Lami Lucas.